here's the
Mm-hmm.
basic challenge. I was actually started organizing teacher unions in the late 70s, and was actually a union president in 1978, which again, an example of how old I am. But back then, when we started organizing unions, we looked around and said a school district and even a higher ed institution looks a lot like a huge industrial factory. And so we looked around for what's the union model that best fits large industrial centralized, organizations, whether it's steel workers unions or auto worker unions, et cetera. And we basically said, it's an industrial model that we need to use because I said school districts look a lot like automobile factories and steel factories in terms of how they're organized and how they're managed, very top down command and control. And so that was the model that we adopted when we started organizing teacher unions. Well, the world has changed. And so when I talk about customization, it's all about decentralization, flexibility, and sort of this one size fits all model of schooling. And the one size fits all model of unionism, which accompanies that, is all sort of breaking down. Fortunately, the unions right now aren't able right now to sit back and look at their business model and rethink it. And so I think eventually there's going to come a day of reckoning for the teacher unions where, as public education transitions from this one size fits all assembly line model to a much more decentralized model that's all about customization, I think the unions are going to have to eventually rethink their business model. I think there's a role for them, but only if they change their business model. If they keep advocating a one size fits all top down command and control model of unionism and advocate for that same kind of model of public education, because their model fits that, they're going to increasingly become sort of, I don't know what the word is, maybe obsolete and actually doing more harm than good. In many ways right now,